The days that followed carried a strange heaviness, the kind that settles in a place just before something irreversible happens, and I could feel it in the way the house sounded different, as if even the walls were listening more carefully than before. My son's confidence had now turned into certainly into open dominance. He no longer softened his words or pretended concern, speaking instead with the authority of someone who believes nothing can challenge his position. He began discussion openly, discussing future plans at the dining table as if I were no longer part of the conversation, talking about renovation, possible loan, and even selling part of the property someday. Even selling part of the property someday. All while using words like my house and my responsibility without hesitation. And each time he said it, I feel the truth press harder against my chest, waiting to be released. His wife supported every statement with nods and quiet approval. Her comfort now clearly tied to his power, and relatives who visited echoed that same sentiments, advising me gently to accept reality, to understand that children grow up and parents must step aside, as if stepping aside meant erasing oneself completely. I listened to them all with calm eyes and a steady heart, because by then I had learned that argument only strengthens arrogance. While silence prepared truth inside me, the folder felt heavier each day. Not because of the papers themselves, but because of what they represented. Decades of effort, foresight, and a protection my husband and I had built not to control our child but to ensure dignity in our old age. One afternoon, my son confronted me again, accusing me of being distant, of changing, of no longer being grateful, and I realized how easily power blinds people to their own behavior, how they confuse obedience with love. I told him quietly that gratitude should never be demanded, that respect cannot be forced, and the irritation on his face revealed how unfamiliar those ideas had become to him. His voice rose, then reminding me loudly of everything he did, of bills paid, of responsibility it carried, and in the moment he spoke not as a son but as a ruler defending his territory, unaware that his authority rested on assumptions rather than truth. The house felt tense, charged with unspoken words, and even my grandchildren sensed the shift. Moving carefully around us, their laughter quieter, their footsteps softer. That night, alone in my room, I finally took out the documents and read them slowly. Every signature, every stamp, every line of legal certainly grounding me further, not filling me with pride but with calm resolve. I thought my husband again of his insistence on preparation of his belief that love should be protected by wisdom, and I understood that the moment he prepared me for had arrived. Over the next few days, my son's overconfidence, he reached his peak. He spoke openly about authority, about ownership, about decision that would shape the future of the house without once considering my place in it. And with every word, he unknowing tightened the note that would soon come undone. I did not interrupt him, did not correct him, did not reveal the truth prematurely. Because lessons delivered too early are often ignored, and lessons delivered at the right moment change lives. The tension finally reached a point where it could no longer exist quietly, a point where silence itself demanded an answer, and I knew that the next conversation would not be about money, space, or control, but about truth, dignity, and forgotten roots. As I sat in the living room on evening, listening to my son speak confidently about his house to a guest, I feel no anger, only clarity, because the ground beneath his certainly was about to shift, and when it did, it would not collapse violently but settle into a balance that had been missing for far too long, marking the beginning of an ending he never saw coming, and the restoration of a respect that had been quietly waiting to run.